While we're on the topic of getting heated and people not doing things the correct way, there's a topic that I want to chat about. But before we get into that,
All right.
we always run into people in game that should probably be banned. Actually, they probably shouldn't have a computer altogether. Some of those peoples.
Take them off the internet.
So right now, there's not really good methods to handle those people. But I was wondering, before we get into the meat and potatoes of that, I was wondering if you have any recent situations or just memorable situations of maybe one of those people that stick in your brain that are just forged in there.
I mean, as an internet person for as long as I can remember, I think a lot of that stuff goes in one ear, out the other. Like the people that actually should be removed from the population of gameplay. You got to keep in mind, I play a lot of competitive games where one person can ruin the time of 9 others at just like on a whim because they're not feeling it.
Yeah.
And it's, I think that that competitive group puts a lot of pressure on people, and they know that they can have that impact. So they go out of their way to be extra toxic, right?
Yep.
I've been playing a lot of Counter-Strike. Obviously, this falls in that category. And yeah, we had some people that we had to mute recently for the terms of service of the broadcast and whatnot. And it's a shame because like sometimes a lot of that is really good content, but there's obviously a line, right? Like the banter's really good, and even teammates shit talking each other, very fun sometimes, And one guy's getting mad and this other guy's egging him on, and it's hilarious. We just get to be like the bystander, or like throw a little something in, you know what I'm saying, just to fuel the fire a little bit.
Of course.
And yeah, and it's funny because hundreds of people are watching that happen kind of over the shoulder, like this is great. And it's a shame that people let it devolve into something it doesn't have to be. And yeah, so it's really up to the content creator, whatever that line is, right? But most games give you the tools to at least mute them in game.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you ask?
Well, because it looks like Blizzard is talking about using an AI to monitor voice chat of what people are saying in game to help correct bad behavior.
Sure.
So I think we have an article here, Abe, if you don't mind bringing that up for us.
Yeah.
But what I'm interested in is, so Blizzard bans. Let me pull this up for those listening, and then I got to fix something over there. But Blizzard bans 250,000 Overwatch 2 cheaters. Says it's AI that analysis. Wait, hold on.
Analyzes.
Says it's. Why don't you can you give that a read? I'm struggling.
Sure, man. Blizzard bans 250,000 Overwatch 2 cheaters. Says it's AI that analyzes voice chat, is warning naughty players, and can often correct negative behavior immediately.
Oh, naughty players.
So are they? So they're processing their voice comms at all times too, I assume.
That's what they made it seem like.
Yeah, I mean, voice comms have been recorded for a very long time for a lot of games, right? Those go on file for people, even if you're just like in an open mic party with your friends, like you're not even like talking to enemies or whatever. A lot of that's recorded for a lot of games, which I'm sure a lot of people would be horrified to find out. KEKW. But I think this was just a matter of time. I mean, like AI, again, it's a tool. It processes a ton of data at once, and this is not surprising. I'm sure it picks up on certain things, and then it warns the person like that the behavior is unacceptable. And I love that. I think this is a phenomenal direction for creating better gaming environments. Because again, I think if it's not heavy-handed, I'm definitely one to enjoy the shit talk, and there should be some of that, right? Like, I think it's part of competition. It's part of being human. It's part of going head to head against somebody as things getting heated. That's good stuff. I think that fuels the fire for a lot of people. But, there's a line. And if it's going to correct beyond that line, I think that's awesome. I think that's a huge win.
So who decides the line?
Mm-hmm.
And
definitely a discussion.
Mm-hmm. It would be cool to see a community-based line. Just like discussion.
The lines already exist. So like this doesn't. No, I mean, they do exist for each of these companies. Like they already have to draw the line for text and they go through logs and like, so like their lines are defined already. So maybe it's really not even a line conversation. This is just a tool that helps them implement wherever they decided that may be. Because again, if you're playing a game, you're not entitled to anything, right? It's their company, it's their game, it's the community that they want to host.
No,
If they want to
I hear you.
censor anyone within that realm, so be it. You know what I mean?
They can censor whoever the hell they want to censor. It's a private game, and you can decide if you don't want to play it or not.
And if you don't want to play it, don't play it.
The aspect of that is companies don't know what they're doing. They do it too much, and people leave. So that's what keeps them on a good line.
Self-regulated.
Yes. So what were you highlighting up there, Abe? Did you want to say something about this article?
It's just the language that explains basically like they have issues, as Mark alluded to already, in their unfiltered text chat with people saying some pretty awful stuff, and that basically it's going to use the AI to they've been using the AI to verify reports currently with the disruptive voice chat. I think where it's now being utilized more is in the live version of it, where it's just running while it's recording.
Right.
And obviously, like you talked about lines, like there's some obvious lines and some words that we know that you really should never say.
Sure.
That happen to be said all the time in these types of competitive games by these particular folks. Okay. So I think there's a really easy line to define, and then there's a harder line that goes beyond that.
So what about the easy line? Yes. What would be the hard line? Like, why is it hard? Either of you can go in on that. I have some thoughts about that. Why is it so hard to draw that line?
Well, I mean, as Mark alluded to as well, there's something to be said about a little bit of shit talking, right?
Yeah.
And that's a little bit of shit talking. It has a finite amount of it though before it becomes just unbearable and just toxic.
Sure.
Yeah.
But how do you define that? I don't know. Because even if you're not saying anything particularly bad, if you're hammering it home, it's still toxic.
Context is everything true too.
Yes.
And yeah, I think it will be difficult. Like if I tell someone to eat shit one time versus I just am spamming into the mic, eat shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Over and over again. That's two very different things.
Correct.
Or you throw out and eat shit and die. Now we're on a whole different topic. You know what I mean? Like that just realistically speaking, it doesn't take much to go to the next part.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
And even below,
especially when there's emotions involved for people who honestly are oftentimes not well adjusted to begin with. So like that presents a whole other, like these are a lot of the times like not super well socialized individuals that are super deep on these competitive games.
And then even below the first eat shit, before the eat shit, below the first eat shit, what if there's a call out called, yo, I'm by the shit log? You know?
Yeah, okay.
Well, I
hear you.
You never know.
I hear you.
We had call outs with curse words in them.
Sure.
So does it string?
Fuck Buddy Hill and DayZ.
Fuck Buddy Hill. So
Fuck
does it
Buddy Hill? Why? Because there's always two shitters up there, man, just sniping, both in ghillie suits. There was always two people.
So you think they would string certain words together, phrases? It's tricky.
Again, the power of AI is, it feels pretty massive at this point, and I think that if anything's going to analyze like a massive set of rules all at once, then I think this is the right route, because people will continue to get creative. I've seen some very creative ways for people to say some pretty awful things, especially in League of Legends. That one definitely takes the cake for me for the way that people treat each other. I think people who play CS they're a bit more on the nose, and they'll just say awful shit like right to you. But the League community takes it a step above, because they don't want to get banned, because they'll lose their account that has skins that they've put a bunch of money into, all that good stuff, because League does really crack down on that. And on that front too, something that I found really interesting when I heard this the first time is the steps that they've taken to basically explain to the person, hey, this is unacceptable. You are now chat restricted. You have to play the next 10 games without chat. And when you get it back, like, this is a mark on your account. And if this continues to happen, you will be banned. When they present it to them like that, they see changes in behavior way, way, way like more frequently than not, which I found to be really interesting. That people were actually like, pause. maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I gotta let some of this go.
Yes.
And there's a huge, like, overwhelming wave of people too that just mute all chat immediately when they jump into a league game. That's very common.
So, one phrase and then a question for you. So you're saying right now, the extra CS talk is not worth the risk. You might hear some funny stuff, but it's not even worth the risk. So you mute most of them.
I will give people benefit of the doubt a lot of the time. Some people I know are going to be a problem very quickly.
Okay.
Those people get the insta mute. There are others that I am willing to, like, you know, like they will be good for content for a period of time.
Okay.
And I'm just kind of monitoring the situation.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So, all right, Blizzard's AI, good or bad for the long run?
Good. Like it.
Okay.
Send it.
All right. Good stuff.
Well, so I have another a question or topic for you here that kind of came up to me the other day, in just my personal setup, and then I looked into it more. But what I wanted to ask you about next is with where streaming services have gone recently, and we're talking about the Netflixes, the Disney Pluses, the Hulus, those types of streaming services.
Right.
We're seeing a bunch of account sharing restrictions, price hikes. We're seeing them forming trade alliances and stuff. So I think we've come full circle to just we're now paying for cable again or buying cable again. And I wanted to kind of talk about that whole topic of our streaming services now just cable.
It's funny. I don't even know if you're aware of this, but we did have this whole conversation on stream just this week.
Then you kick it off then.
The conclusion that I kind of came to on this front, I think during that stream discussion was, yeah, it's funny because a lot of these groups have basically teamed up to package their stuff together now. Like you see like Hulu, ESPN Plus, Disney, you can get as a massive package at a discounted rate than having all three individual. And yeah, that is obviously harkens back to, wait, is this just cable? But the reality of the situation is that the consumer receives infinitely better content as a result of these premier stations. The reality is that cable TV is literally brain rot and has been for 20 years. And I don't think there's a single thing that's ever come out on it, whether it's sitcoms on CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox,
FX.
the news.
FX was fire, dude.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I mean, though.
That's when, but all right, keep going. Go ahead.
In the last 20 years, it's really gone downhill.
For
the
sure.
quality is disgusting. The ability to watch things on demand, like they try to put their own little like on-demand stuff in. It's not great. Like their built-in systems. I think that it is absolutely archaic. The actual content, when you compare it to original series and all of the really well-written, well-acted, like your A-list celebrity actors, the best of the best, are on the services. They're not on cable. And there's a reason for that.
Yeah. Well,
the investment is tenfold.
When you say, has it come full circle? I'm more so comparing it to like what cable was at its height when when the model was cable TV. And then now, is the model still about the same? So obviously cable is trash nowadays because the model is just shifted. We don't give money to the cable companies anymore. We subscribe to this other stuff. But I think it's very similar. Like you're paying for certain programs that you want to watch.
Can I stop you there?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's important to note and underline that it wasn't that there's a reason we chose to support a different line of content, right?
Okay, what was that reason?
Twofold.
Okay.
One, quality degradation over time, because they were comfortable and the content that they provided us was not only poor in quality, but it was really targeted to like when I talk about this, obviously this is from the perspective of the United States. I'm sure we have a lot of international viewers, but I found most of it targeted to really backwoods middle America, to stuff that like I literally couldn't relate to save my life. But
what were you watching?
Everything, bro. Everything on the major networks was made for people in the sticks. I couldn't figure it out to save my life. Really,
Bro.
like I could feel myself get dumber watching it, and I know I'm not alone on this. It was brutal.
The last part, sure. The dumber part, yes. Like obviously, it's TV. But there's channels.
But there's great content on TV. But the other reason that we swapped, right? The other reason we swapped is because of their business practices, right?
Okay.
These massive gigacorp telecom companies, basically, their business practice was to hike your bill without you knowing, month after month, until you noticed, and then you'd have to call, and then you'd have to threaten to cancel, and then they would put you on the new rate and put you down back at the bottom, and you have to repeat the cycle every 3 months just to get charged a fair rate for whatever your cable was.
Oh no, your cable's out.
Oh no. Yeah, we're sorry.
Oh
we're
God.
Sorry.
Well, what are you gonna do?
You're paying like you're literally renting their equipment. Like that's giga scam.
That's pretty scuffed.
Absolutely,
I think
giga
I'm
scam.
still
You can
getting
buy your own
charged.
for $100 and never get charged for that again,
dude.
But instead, you're paying like $15-20 a month for the equipment cost. Then a guy has to come to your house to do the installation, and they charge you for that,
and they fuck it up.
Every single way to nickel and dime you over their tenure was taken advantage of, right? And so people just came to hate it. Like that was standard business practice. Now, on top of that, add into the fact that they took over internet distribution completely, and it was all together. Comcast literally came out with Xfinity. They called themselves, they were one of the first to do this. They called themselves Comcast, then Comcast Xfinity, then just Xfinity. And they're trying desperately to break the connection between your mind and the fact that Comcast is dog shit.
Oh yeah.
This is Xfinity. It's not Comcast. It's Xfinity. It's not bad. It's a little bit better.
It's not bad. It's Xfinity.
Exactly.
Aren't they number one for the worst customer service ever? I don't know if that's a stat.
There have been times when that is absolutely the case.
I don't know if it
currently is, but
yeah, I've definitely anecdotally I've experienced it for sure.
I think we all have. That's the crazy part.
All right,
that's where I get worked up on this, man, because I've spent a lot of time as a kid trying to like explain to the parents like we're getting screwed. What is happening? Because like
it's cheaper.
The internet's not giving us what they're supposed to be giving us.
Yep.
Like this is what we're paying for it. You guys are getting destroyed on this. And on top of that, let's add to the fact on the scummy business side that they spend insane amounts of money not providing us a better service, of course, but to lobby against to lobby Congress to disallow the widespread installation of fiber networks across the United States, because everything that they have is based on copper, and that infrastructure, which is degraded to shit and split up so many different ways that if you're one more neighbor in your neighborhood flips their shit on, yours is going down. That's a fact. All it takes is one more person to pee in the pool, and then you have a pee, typhoon, man. It's bad.
Dude,
it's real bad.
Markstrom yelled at me for almost talking politics. Comcast is going to shut us down, bro.
Comcast can... I'm going to reel that one back in. But I'll let the viewers and the listeners use their imagination what they can do.
Can I add a caveat to why I hate Comcast too?
Sure, throw it in there, dude.
If you're a Philadelphia area person, I'm sure you've experienced as well, especially because they're in our backyard. But they also bought our local goddamn hockey team and then made it so that the only way you could watch the hockey team was through their proprietary channels. Coupled with the fact that they've run that organization into the fucking ground and they suck now. I cannot stand Comcast.
They're the worst of the worst.
They're terrible.
Hey, but dude, it's cheaper if you keep your home phone on.
Yeah.
Such a scam.
What, dude? I haven't used a home phone in 20 years, bro. You guys are still offering that?
Yeah. Real question. Your mom's got a home phone?
No, we disconnected that so long ago, dude.
Yeah, good.
Who the heck has a home phone?
I know one person
that has a home phone.
Yeah, my aunt has a home phone.
To be honest, if that's a conscious choice, and be like, I don't want a cell phone, I want a home phone.
She has the cell phone too.
Oh,
and she does the texting, and she's hip, she's with it, but she still has a home phone just in case.
Just in case what?
You know how
she uses it. I mean, when I call her home phone. She
That's
may
why
not
she's
pick up
keeping
the
it.
cell phone
It's
because she
just
doesn't
you.
always keep it on her.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
You know how you know that that's like they don't believe in that anymore either. Is the techs will come to your house and be like, "Do you want me to actually install the phone, or do you just want to just want me to leave after I do the
Are we
cable and
good?
the
That's
internet?"
such bull. That is such bull, dude. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
They're the king schmozzers, man. I have absolutely no love lost for them, dude. Like the premium services can reign supreme. I don't care. I will pay for the ones I don't want to, or that I want to pay for, and the things that I want to see. I will leave out the ones that I don't. And when and like I feel like I'm pretty responsible with it because like as someone who owns a business and goes through my finances like once a quarter, I know when I'm being charged for something. And like, let's say we just finished a show on a service and we're not looking to watch another show on that service for a while. Say I get stars or something for like the last season of Dexter is a perfect example, right? No one has stars, but that's what it was on, right? And so we get stars, we watch the series, I cancel stars. You know, it's like it's not super difficult to stay on top of it. I don't think. I think like there's a bunch of services out there now too that will do this automated for you, which is interesting and not something that I've looked at personally, but some people need that. I'm sure of it.
I would just rip that shit for free.
Yeah, I mean, listen, again, as an internet person, it's not like it would be my first time on Pirate Bay. You know what I mean?
Well, can I layer some stats on top of this?
Yeah, what do you got?
Really quickly? So, and I'll bring up this chart too. But just talking about the pricing
what do we got
models.
here? Some visuals?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, talking about the pricing models alone. If you look across all these major platforms here, like where they started and what their costs are now, it actually represents a 49% increase.
Can you pinch in a little bit for me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff.
And they've done surveys that say that the average American is willing to commit around $40 a month towards their streaming services. This obviously would not include if you're doing like live Hulu.
Okay,
or
so
YouTube
all
Live
of
or something like
all of that entertainment, $40. I might have three services, but like $40 is probably.
I think like the 3 service thing in my brain makes perfect sense. Like I try to keep it capped at that usually.
Okay. And it's about $14.50 on average now for these platforms. What I will say though too, what this has done, these price increases they're seeing, is that people are turning to the cheaper ads included version of these streaming services. So now, like I said, you're seeing these groups form alliances together, trade alliances. It's called the Streaming Innovation Alliance. It's got all the major players in it that you would expect. The prices are being bundled and the prices are driving people to add versions of the content.
Right.
To me, it's becoming what cable was at its peak. The content is still good.
Yep.
But the totality of it is it's cable TV.
Yeah.
Right. No, I mean, I definitely understand. I think like the services that are still actually providing premium content probably end up doing this in the right way because they understand what the consumer wants and what they provide. Right. I mean, like, I think that is standard. I think the people that I see like charging like way too much are of course the ones that are ran by NBC, you know, like
one?
Peacock. Yeah.
Okay.
Like I think that's that's NBC, right? So like what they offer for the price that they charge feels ridiculous to me, and I would never pay for Peacock. I don't care if they have one show that might be a hitter. Guess what show you can catch on the Pirate Bay?
The Pirate Bay doesn't exist anymore.
Listen, that's why I feel comfortable throwing it out there.
Yeah. Cover the tracks.
Just download LimeWire.
LimeWire.
I mean, yeah, Abe's over there still on Kazaa. It's all good, bro.
Kazaa was just before my time. My brother was using Kazaa.
I think Peacock's business model anyway was just, hey, let's take The Office off of Netflix and charge you $11 a month to watch the rerun.
Well, that's what starts a lot of these streaming platforms. They purchase a heater and they're like, we're the only platform with this.
It's truly the most like rewatched series of all time, probably.
It's got to be up there.
Way
trash
up there.
show too, by the way.
It's funny. It's funny.
It's got its place.
It's not my kind of humor, but I understand.
I felt that way very much so for a long time.
Okay.
I had to go down the journey.
You know what? I actually dealt with that with Seinfeld as well. So maybe I
Nice.
have to go down the
Great
journey.
show.
Yep.
Seinfeld, great show.
Great show.
When I was over and you're like, well, we've been watching Seinfeld, I got mad excited. I was like, my man,
Good.
so good.
Oh my gosh.
You know what? It's funny because I do have like these like preconceived notions for certain shows, and I'll be like, I don't think that this is something that like I just don't get it. Why do people like this? If a lot of people really like something and they swear by it and it has this massive fandom, usually there's a reason. I think there's very few times where I like start to watch something, I let myself get into it, and I'm like, and I just still don't get it. Most of the time, I'm like, all right, I see you guys.
What about reality TV shows? Like there's
I totally understand that.
Yeah. I'm hooked on Survivor again. I'm not gonna lie.
Alexander asked me to watch the new season that just started today.
It's the last one before this was fantastic. That show, it's one of the best things that cable ever did. I love that show.
But CBS, they do a very good job. Jeff Probst is a beast, right?
Yeah, he's the best.
He's the best. He does a really good job hosting. He has for 20 years. But on top of that, they consult with people like contestants who are on these shows and see like behind the curtain and all this stuff to help out, continue to groom the future shows to make sure that they're worth watching, right? One of our homies who does that is Dan Giesling. He's worked with CBS to make sure that later shows or later seasons of Big Brother were good, and I think that keeps them on track a lot. So there's some big companies that are making some good decisions, but yeah, Jeff Probst, that's the man, and he's wearing that orange and blue. Go Gator!
Oh gosh, get out of here! Go Gator!
Go Gator!
Okay, so Survivor. I'm hoping, I've never watched it, but I'm hoping it's like it has to deal with surviving. Like you have to do things.
You've never watched Survivor?
No,
are you,
but
are you messing with us?
No.
That is pretty wild to have never tried Survivor in 25 years.
Just is it you got to survive on an island or something? You got to do tasks.
You get voted off.
There's
Like
tribes. It's a lot of social manipulation.
Okay,
Yeah.
Well as physical tasks.
That's cool. Now there's stuff like what Trish is watching. Don't tell Trish. It's called like Circle of Love or something.
Okay.
And they
Oh,
get,
yeah,
these,
there's
they get these
You're mixing
influencers.
two shows. Don't get it twisted.
Oh, jeez, dude.
So there's the
Don't
Circle.
do this.
And then there's Love is Blind.
Oh my god.
And then there's also Love Island.
He's so right. Oh my god.
Listen. Love is Blind is a good social experiment. A genuinely good social experiment. Most of the other shows on that docket are absolutely brain rot. Really bad. Please don't watch them.
Brain rot. And I would say Love is Blind is too because of the people they pick.
Yeah, it can be hard to watch.
It's
sometimes.
like who are these influencers that are trying to make it? Who's got big tits? Who's got an airhead? Let's get them all. Who's this 20-year-old jacked 6 foot, looks like he's 25 and like just out of Mount Olympus to make all these guys feel like everyone should look like this? Yeah, let's get him on there. He's the average 19-year-old.
True for the Circle for sure. And it is like aspiring influencers, and it's all very cringy, right?
Yeah.
But I do think that they pick mostly normal people on Love is Blind.
All right.
It's interesting.
Okay.
You know the concept or no?
They put you in a room and you talk to a TV screen and you figure
you through a wall.
You find out you talk to the people, right?
You go on dates without seeing each other and you just talk for an extended period of time.
Okay.
And then they have these idiots get engaged to each other. I mean, and like you gotta Jesus Christ, I know.
Is that any worse than like The Bachelor though? Like
they're all bad.
I'm here to find love, and the way I'm gonna do it is by having 8 women date me at the same time.
How you doing?
Slim's like, it's not the worst situation. I don't know.
Who's their target audience? I wonder.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, it's you wonder definitely like, how do these people decide that they want to go through this? Not only go through this, but then do it in front of who knows how many people, and have it edited who knows what kind of way. Yeah, I mean, and they have full creative rights over it. If they want to make you, if they want to try to make you look shitty, they're going to do that if it's good for the TV. So it's it's very interesting. Probably not like anyone in my inner circle of friends would probably find themselves on a show like that.
Oh, dude, I'd body one of those shows.
I know you would, kid,
Bro,
but
get me on that show, not the blind one. That's I don't know. But I need some
Survivor.
Survivor.
see you on Survivor.
I gotta watch it.
I would love to see Slow-Mo on Survivor.
Get me on there.
Great.
That would be fantastic.
I gotta watch it, but get me on there.
You really should watch that though. Like,
I think it would be a quality watch for you and Trish, as someone
and
who's
there's
never
like 40
watched
seasons.
Yeah, you don't need to watch 40 seasons, but let's not get crazy. But yeah, watch the most recent one.
Okay,
I'll probably watch it.
I'll check it out.
All right.
Do you think they ever have to play like musical instruments on this island, like a saxophone?
No, I haven't seen a challenge like that.
Oh, okay. Well,
Well, I actually have a great little snippet for you then, because
What you got?
on the topic of AI, as we've been talking about, and let me switch up how my screen sharing works here so we can actually get some audio on this one.
We got some audio. It's not copyright, right? Oh, whoa.
It shouldn't be. Hold on.
Oh, go back.
There we go.
A little screenception there, dude.
Sorry. I have to switch how the screen share works so you don't get the audio from everything else. We'll figure that one out.
All right, we'll get there.
So in this case, what we have here is this guy uses it's called Riff Fusion. It's an AI program. And how this AI program works is it basically takes audio inputs and then creates spectrograms from the inputs. And then you can actually have it generate sounds based off this spectrograms and different types of musical instruments. So in this case, and I hope we get the audio.
What is a spectrum? Or I'm sorry, what was it? Spectrogram?
A spectrogram, it looks like waves when you look. It's like a picture of sound waves, essentially, I think. Once for all the people
does it have depth? Or is it just a flat 2D?
It's like a flat 2D image from what I've seen.
Okay.
Now, once again, there's probably real scientists or something listening to this that are telling me I'm an idiot, but I believe it's just a 2D image of the waves of sound.
Okay.
Correct.
And then the program will then read it, and this one will actually generate them based off what it's hearing and then play something back. So what this guy did is he used the AI to create a jazz saxophone partner to jam with him while he plays guitar riffs.
All right, wait, before you click it, for those listening, just be prepared. The audio might be very loud, but I'll change it as quick as we can. Give it a go.
All right.
Or we might not hear any of it.
Do you not hear it?
No dice.
That's
a lot of buildup.
That is terrible. Oh, we practiced this the other day. Oh no.
Are you on the right?
It needs to be the browser.
Yeah, the
not
application.
your monitor.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I did it. I've reversed it then. All right, let's try. Let's try this.
Okay.
I didn't stop streaming that time. It should have worked. Okay, anyway. Let's try it again.
Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, this guy's shredding.
Just playing guitar.
Oh, that second one was
Very
AI. Wow, it's responding back to the guy shredding. Right now, it's the guy.
What does he have it set to? Violin?
It's supposed to be a saxophone.
Interesting. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, there it is. Okay. That's pretty cool.
Wait, so it's not necessarily playing the same thing back. It's
no. It's within the framework that he's providing it, basically.
It's like, this would sound good right after this. Let me stay in this key and this. Oh, dude.
Yep.
Exactly.
Very cool.
Exactly.
That's pretty wild.
That's neat, man. I mean, you could legit have a one-man performance in a jazz club like that and let it ride.
Holy crap.
That'd be neat.
Wow. Okay. What would you, can we, is this like crazy tech or can we access this? What's going on here?
There should be a link that I could provide for the Riff Fusion AI. So I believe anybody can kind of just grab this thing and roll with it.
Okay.
So aspiring musicians out there, if you need a partner.
Cool.
All right. Beautiful. Refusion AI. I like that. You know what else I like, dude?
What do you like, Slum?
I like cheesy things, and I like when people get fooled. Well, I don't want people to get fooled and like lose a lot of stuff, but I like when people are just so gullible, and you look at them and you're like, "What are you doing, dude? You can't be that gullible." And on that, I think we have an update on the
Jesus.
On it.
Don't tell me the aliens.
On the aliens.
We have an update on the Mexican
Oh,
aliens.
don't tell me the Mexican aliens, man.
What's the update, dude? I want to hear
So
this.
the most recent part of the saga is the scientist whose last name is Malsan, I believe. Sorry if I butchered that, but he presented to Mexican Congress once again the results of carbon testing that they performed
Nice.
on these alien mummies.
Uh-huh.
And here, let me give us a visual.
Dude, they probably
here.
got some really good stuff out of that, right?
Yeah. So what they basically were able to determine from that is that that the results showed that these were indeed not species that were indicative of normal life on Earth. To provide some validity, once again, these weren't fake specimens. These indeed were, entities that were not, of normal Earth beings, essentially. The issue with this is that the tests that they provided, the data they provided, was from an entirely different body known as Victoria, that was also remains found in Peru. So not the two that were presented to Mexican Congress, but a completely different mummy that they have. And it's because they said they can't really run the tests on the two mummies they have without damaging them. So they don't want to actually, damage those mummies, but they want to run the tests to support their validity.
Yeah.
So to that, I say, this is fucking fake.
Yeah. I mean, like when I got my my paper mache triceratops back from class for the year, you know what I mean? It was like displayed in class, and then you get it back, and it's like, all right, you're moving on. Here you go, kid. And my parents didn't want to keep it. It was like that, right? Like, we don't. I'm over here like, I don't want it damaged. You know, we got to keep this bad boy. And they're over there like, where are we gonna put it? I don't know, man. We're gonna throw this garbage away.
I think it's more like when I made a teapot in 3D art class, because my mom collects teapots. And then I said, this was the best teapot ever. And I gave it to her to put on a display, and she wanted to use it. I said, no, you can't use it. You don't want to use it. It's straight, it works. It's the greatest teapot ever, but it's just for decoration. You don't use it. It wasn't a functional teapot. It was barely held together.
Right.
These things are fake. They don't want to stab these things and pull out bullshit.
But when they also say it's like it's not indicative of an organism on Earth. Neither is like paper mache. Is that paper mache is not indicative of an organism on Earth? It's paper.
Well, they also said like a life form, right? I hear you. They're throwing in weird language.
Oh,
but
the
I think they
diction
did
is definitely purposeful.
I think they did use life form of or something, Abe. Right? They threw something like that.
Yeah, it was indicative of normal Earth life.
It wasn't
so when you use something. Not alive.
It wasn't indicative of normal
wasn't
Earth life.
indicative, sorry.
Right.
Earth.
Okay,
Yes,
so that
correct.
could, it's not saying anything about life then.
That's correct.
It's saying it's just not this.
Really well chiseled out rock.
What the fuck is it then?
Yeah.
Well, furthermore, they refused to release how these bodies were even extradited or extracted, I should say, not extradited, but extracted from Peru, because they didn't go through the correct channels to be able to properly. So basically, they also stole these things.
No, they made them in a basement, Abe. They didn't steal them. We couldn't put them through the channels because we made them downstairs. There was no one to notify when we were transporting them because we made them right here.
You don't have to check in with customs for paper mache.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Organisms, sure. But I don't think they're too worried about your art project.
All right, so are people still like, wait, are these guys thinking people are really buying it still or what? Are people buying this?
They keep getting in front of Mexican Congress.
Well, what does that say?
There's that.
Like, what does that mean?
I don't know the current status of Mexican Congress.
I don't either, dude. I didn't even know they had a Congress.
Clearly, it's not great. Clearly, I'm not sure what's going on. I don't feel great about any of the Congresses going on in any countries right now, but Mexico doesn't seem to have it together right now.
Dude.
I don't know, bro.
Oh my gosh.
Incredible. And then us over here, I don't know if you guys watched any of that NASA live event we tuned in a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
And man, they said that they were going to be transparent as possible 500 times while simultaneously telling people that they can't share that information. Over and over.
That's classified.
over.
Sorry.
They're allotting some sort of resources to a person who is going to be in charge of basically like alien studies for the United States at NASA, right? And we don't get to know the person who it is. We don't get to know how many resources exist for this, like what the government is putting aside for it. We don't know where they're going to be located or based out of. Like it, but at the same time, they're just doing their best to be transparent as possible. Smile.
Scientists,
So
huh?
I wasted I wasted like an hour watching this live on stream, and wow, it was good memes, meme content. We didn't learn anything. I'll tell you that.
Well, then I think we can say for now that Mexican aliens still fake, right? That's
still fake.
We can wrap that one up then.
Still fake.
I have one more thing I'd like to give to you guys today.
What do you got?
You know how in previous episodes I've showed my fear of messing with stuff that we don't have normal contact with.
Sure.
So we now have a recent study of the depths of the ocean where they are finding new unknown viruses that they had never discovered before at the bottom of the Mariana Trench.
Oh, we should bring that up to the surface and see what happens.
Yeah, it could be good. Could be a good idea, guys.
So these are what they call bacteriophages. So that means they essentially feast on bacteria, which makes a ton of sense. Salt water can be riddled with bacteria, and it would make sense for them to be in that type of environment. So they feed on a form of bacteria known as halomus, which are predominantly found in salt water. But they did talk about how they continue to plan to explore the depths of the ocean to expand this research and figure out more about how these viruses have evolved to survive in these harsh environments. This terrifies me.
Yeah, I think it excites me. I don't. It doesn't excite you. Does it excite you, Slum?
No, because last time I tried to talk about something like this, you yelled at me. So I don't know where to go with this topic.
Listen, I think that the bottom of the ocean, there's a lot of unexplored territory.
Oh,
there's a lot of things that we don't know.
In the ocean,
a lot of it could, sure.
Yeah.
The reality is that it could provide scientists with all sorts of different types of information and mechanisms for life formation that we had no idea about, or how to survive in specifically very harsh environments, which may be required at a later point in humanity.
Yeah, I agree with that. But what else?
Man.
What else are they gonna do with it? Are they gonna like mess with it? Are they gonna like make? I don't know, dude. I just don't want stuff being messed with and like amplified and like I don't know. That stuff scares me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? No. Like if we're putting it in a jar that will never like open ever, and we're like examining it, and we're being super secure, and like building, like getting information from it. But then I don't know. What if they're like, here's 2 of them?
I mean, you're saying this, but you're also talking to a guy who like literally injected like cancer cells in vitro and in vivo, and like and worked with like a ton of carcinogens, and just like I don't know. I think it's a little demystified for me to an extent, right? Like protocols exist for a reason, so that we don't end up with a aliens with Sigourney Weaver. You know what I mean? Like,
what the frick?
I mean, like, is that like the rabbit hole you're afraid of? I don't know.
I'm afraid of a guy going, let's take these 2 things and like, what if we put them together? I wonder what happens. Or like, this is like a super terrible virus. They found a virus, undiscovered virus. We don't ever want to get this virus, but let's like make it stronger so we don't ever get like a stronger one too. Or something like that. It gets a little, I understand there's protocols. I do. And I understand the studies are very necessary, because I'm sure studies like this that freak me out have probably made leaps for humanity in a productive way. I'm sure
I
of
think
that.
like this kind of stuff is important if we ever want to have life elsewhere, right? And on Mars, etc. Like, figuring out the mechanisms that these organisms go through could be very interesting.
Okay.
And maybe not for like, obviously we're not changing our bodies to replicate these mechanisms. That's
Well, now
unlikely.
that,
But what ends up happening, like maybe it allows us to start agriculture, right, on Mars, because
Okay.
we genetically splice in these mechanisms into this crop, and now it
Ooh.
can grow when it couldn't before, right?
Yeah, I hear you. That is good. What if it could give us gills too? See, it's just tricky for me, man. I see all the good stuff, but I could also think I'm always thinking of both sides, man, and I don't know.
Mark, with your background, then maybe you can explain this to me, because my fear with this stuff is always like, we have a virus that is adapted to live at the bottom of the ocean. If we introduce it to our much more friendly environment up here, what's to stop it from running rampant and evolving to infect humans instead of bacteria, and then we have the next super virus? That's what I'm afraid of.
I think at surface level, it's going to be like incredibly fragile, right? Like we have to, it's going to be difficult enough to keep it in an environment where it can continue to live in a way that it can be studyable.
That's
right?
true. That's true.
Okay.
But then how can you have those regulations?
And also, I
with
think
that?
the disconnect there for there to be a fear is that those adaptations happen over hundreds of thousands of years, not instantly. There is no instantaneous adaptation of anything. The way it works, obviously, is through the selection for what so it reproduces in one way or another, right? And this piece of it has a specific change that allows it to exist, right? And then that has to be selected for a period of time and then passed on because it's the one that's living at this new environment or capable of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but
it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen instantaneously.
all
It
right.
happens over hundreds of thousands of years.
All right, and sometimes it might not.
Okay.
You never know, dude. There's guys out there that are cutting shit in half and sewing them together.
I'll blame some of that Hollywood brain rot we talked about earlier.
Man,
for
bear,
me.
pig.
Yeah,
TV brain
dude.
rot.
You never know.
Little
But
man,
I
bear, pig.
get it. I get that fortune favors the bold. So you have to study this stuff. You have to be thinking about the future, or else you're moving backwards.
Yeah, I think a lot worse shit happens in our reality from like the fear of the unknown rather than like the actual exploration and like locking down what things actually are and the science that's involved. So
that's
my
that's
take.
a fair take.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that too.
Thanks, guys.
Also, fuck the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's
That's
terrifying.
also a fair take. All right.
I can't do. I think about two scenarios. Like when I'm flying in a plane, I'm like, would I rather be on a plane or be on a boat if something really bad happened?
That's
And
all bad.
I pick a plane every time.
Okay.
Try not
Is
the
it the
boat,
instant death? That, like
Yeah.
like a plane goes wrong, you kind of just
dude.
die. Like stranded.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, you're not just drowning. That's
Yeah.
bad. That's bad
Yeah.
stuff.
Pockets filling up.
Oh.
It's a bad way to go.
Ooh. You know what? Some people say it's peaceful, but I don't know how those people are around to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great point. That's a great point.
I've heard someone said that to me.
Those people probably don't know what they're talking about, huh?
Dude,
Because they're talking to you.
someone
That's
said
crazy.
it to me. They were like, dude, they say it's peaceful. Like,
They.
who? Who was they, dude?
Have you seen the Titanic? It didn't look very peaceful.
Oh,
I'm saying,
man.
dude.
Ay, ay, ay.
First 30 minutes to an hour, though. Peaceful.
Very peaceful.
I think open water is one of the most the concept of being alone in
Awful.
open
Yeah.
water is one of the most terrifying concepts out there.
That's fair.
you think you got what it takes?
That's hardwired into us, too, as humans, man.
No.
Like, we know that that's not good for us.
Like open
Man, I'm
water.
stuck in open water slum. I'm drinking the salt water as fast as I can to go crazy and just die. I'm not living in that scenario.
I don't know.
They talk
dude.
about people. I mean, there's some crazy stories about people living for a really long time out there.
Yeah. Like
Those fascinate me very much.
on a raft or on like a boat with a couple supplies or like what?
Depends. I mean, all the situations are different, right? Some people are just in like an inner tube,
Holy crap.
It's wild.
and they're you know what I mean,
How
like
long
a
can you
flotation
go?
device.
With no
Some
water.
people that last like an insane. Well, I mean, 3 days.
Yeah, well. That's about it then. If you're just in an inner tube, unless you strapped up with a couple bottles of water.
I hear you. But people have gotten innovative, right? I mean, there's if there's some sort of rainfall, you're juicing.
You can even you can essentially, if you have a couple of supplies, you can essentially desalinate water by just letting it evaporate and collecting the condensation,
and then drink whatever's left over.
I learned that in Voyage of the Mimi in 5th grade. If anybody ever watched that on Laserdisc.
We're talking about dudes in inner tubes.
Yeah,
they barely have a swimsuit on. They're not carrying other supplies.
We're not. Now, maybe you don't need a contraption for it.
You just need a sheet of plastic.
Say again.
You just need a sheet of plastic,
right?
You just need something to collect the condensation.
So you have the water, right? That's salt water. Below. You have a plastic above, right? The condensation, as it evaporates, condensation is going to rise into the plastic, and it leaves the salt at the bottom. It doesn't the salt doesn't go with it.
Oh,
yeah.
Learn something new every day. I think also with people that are like in those big circle rafts, like groups of people on those long treks, they probably have like a couple supply. And
they probably also are eyeballing who would be the first to get eaten, but
yeah, that's what I was just going to ask. Who are you eating someone? You got to eat someone, right?
Is that the play?
At a point, but you don't need to eat anyone for a really long time.
Yeah,
there's no reason to eat anyone unless you you have to have a solution to water first.
Yes.
If you don't have a solution to water, it doesn't matter.
Can you hydrate yourself with blood? Is that possible?
That's a great question.
That's disgusting. But
find out next time on.
Everyone always used to say the fat kid would go first. I'd eat you first.
No way, dude.
No, I'm not interested in that, dude. I'm interested in
fat kid's like way too marbled, too gamey.
Not even marbled. It's just all straight fat.
Yeah, you want lean muscle.
Yeah, I want the jacked guy. That guy's got patties on patties, dude. I'll take those cakes. You know what I'm saying?
I'm getting a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, you're right though. Next time, Unplugged. But yeah, let's tie a nice little ribbon on that. As a wonderful conversation about eating jacked guys in the ocean. Markstrom, what's going on? Where can we find you? What's going on in your life right now?
Back to the usual schedule. Live every day, 06:30 Eastern, for about 8 hours every day, but Wednesday and Saturday at twitch.tv/Markstrom. Playing a lot of Dark and Darker right now. There's a brand new patch that came out, and it is phenomenal. Very fun. A lot of big changes to the way that the game plays. Also, today on September 27th, 2023, CS2 officially launches, and there is much rejoicing. You can go play right now.
Let's go.
And I highly recommend it. Get in there, enjoy yourself. It's a magical experience.
Magical. Abe, how about you, dude?
You'll find me in the chat moderating Markstrom's channel once again over at twitch.tv/Markstrom. Make sure you like and subscribe. Actually, just subscribe. I don't think you can follow and subscribe. Sorry, there you go. That's better lingo for
there
that.
You go.
And you'll be able to hear me here on Wednesdays.
Beautiful.
When our episodes drop.
My name is Dom. You can call me Slum. I'm also over at Markstrom's channel. You can find me in there, but I run a production company. You can see our work at lts.media. That's licensed to shoot, like James Bond, licensed to kill. And we break the barrier between imagination and execution. You should check us out as well. So, wonderful conversation, boys. I'm excited.
Before we call it quits,
go ahead.
I think you got a little teaser. Slum.
A teaser. I have an update.
Little tidbit of info.
So you are listening to this on a Monday right now, and the past episodes have been recorded and dropped. We are actually going live Wednesday. So 2 days after you watch this, we're going to be live Wednesday. We're going to be recording this podcast live. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast, but please also
Wednesday, yes, October 4th,
yes,
at 5:15.
Yeah, 5:15. Come on through. The
slide through 5:15 p.m.
Yes.
over on YouTube. We will be live.
Yes.
YouTube.com/plugged podcast.
Plugged podcast. Let's just make sure. Dude, we got the handle, the ad handle.
Yeah.
Plugged podcast. That's pretty dope, right? That's nice. Let's just make sure before we send you guys off, give you the right URL. Yep, Plugged Podcast. Give us a search. Oh yeah, you guys are good. Yep,
We're in there.
Yep, give us a search, dude. And you guys know
Excellent.
this is where we're watching this is where you guys are watching the episode right now. Oh, you might be listening to it on Spotify.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah. All right. So tune in next time, and that's going to be Wednesday. Come through the channel and catch us live. Other than that, it was a wonderful conversation, boys. And until next time, peace.